Welcome back, everybody, to another video. Just want to thank you for being here, liking, subscribing to videos. It really means a lot to me. We made $1,015.91. $1,015.91. 208 of that is courtesy of Nifty AI. Cross-listing and sending offers really does help with this business. I just want to show you Alabama is so pretty this morning. A bit cold, but so let's get into it. If you're new here, I am Bob, the Rocket City Reseller, and we do this. I do this part-time. My wife does it full-time. And this is our storage area that we share with our lawn equipment. And so the scope and depth and breadth of what we do, we mostly sell plush and stuffed animals. My wife does sell toys, Fisher Price, Little People, and also adorables on Whatnot. If you're not familiar with Whatnot, I'll put a link here. You can use that link to get yourself $15 off your first purchase. You don't have to use that with us. You can use it with any reseller on there. If you are a reseller and you want to sell on Whatnot, there's also a link in our description in our bio. So be sure to click that. It should give you instant access to sell. There's a bit of an onboarding process. And so Whatnot can do a lot of things for you. And it did pay for most of our Disney Dream Vacation 2 years in a row. So there's that. So a lot of plush and stuffed animals. We're going to start off the video by saying thank you for all the success that we had in 2025. Another great year. We've been reselling since 2022 and really can't say enough about that. So thank you for coming along on the journey. We also have a podcast that's going to start on Monday. Today is, I believe, Thursday, January 1st. So this coming Monday, January 5th at 8 p.m., you can check out Launchpad. Scaling up your business is important. And if you're not treating it like a business, we want to make sure you do. So check that out. We're going to get back to the video and get some stuff pulled. So we're going to start with a Pusheen birthday cat, and it sold for $12.67 on Depop in 6+ months. All right, we are back in it. And here's that Pusheen birthday cupcake. Someone celebrating a birthday. This one was new with tags. Did sell for $12.67. Took about 6+ months. We do sell quite a bit of Pusheen. He is the cutest cat and he always has a snack. So I definitely can relate. So we'll go ahead and get to the next one. This is the type of thing that we're going to be picking more up this year. Stuff like Kirby. I think that's Kirby. Ninja Turtle, stuff like that. So on to the next one. This next one's a Kohl's Cares Pizza Cat. Kohl's Cares Pizza Cat sold for $13 in 6+ months, courtesy of a Nifty offer through Poshmark. And yes, you can sell plush and toys on Poshmark. It's not just for clothing. So just know that. And then we do sell quite a bit. While we're looking for this, I just want to remind people that, here's Pete, that doing inventory is important, when especially on the scale that we sell on. We have over 8,000 listings, and we have probably another 2,000 to 3,000 to go to list. I can believe that. You'll see that later in the video. But we're going to be starting it, or the point of it is to start it as early as you can. We're going to start it in just a few days. So we're going to go through all these totes, make sure everything is listed, and make sure everything is located where it's supposed to be. That way, when we do sell it, we can find it easy like we just did. And so if you're one of the tips for you to scale your business correctly is to make sure you have a proper inventory. You know where your items are, because if you do not and you have to cancel on eBay, they frown upon that and it can affect your health of your account. So super important to do an inventory. And on to the next one. All right, we are back with this Dalmatian that sold on Etsy. Sold in 4+ months for $29.99. And why I'm stopping to tell you this is important. We try to put items together when we're doing our inventory. So this entire tote here should be all Disney, for example. But where it kind of gets tricky is if you have similar items like Dalmatians, for example, or there are a lot in here. Just be really mindful of when you're picking your sale that you pick the right item. I can't tell you how many times that I've incorrectly sent the wrong thing because I wasn't as careful as I should be. So I went back to Nifty, our inventory control system, which Nifty can do that as well. If you're not familiar with Nifty, it's a cross-listing platform that uses generative AI to be able to help you with the cross-listing effort. It uses cross-listing and also the inventory control, like I mentioned, and also shares, and it also promotes and sends offers as well on your behalf. No need to leave a browser open like some of the other tools out there. I am a software engineer. So take my advice and try nifty.ai. Code Rocket City will save you $15 off your first month. And that's the last of, you'll hear about how that promotes, or in this video anyways. Again, it's $89.99 a month. I know it's a lot. Hear me out. Our first day in January, it helped us make $208. So it's already paid for January and February. So just do the math. It just works well, and as advertised. So anyways, this guy, he sold and he helped $30. On to the next one. So on to the next one. There's two actually in this too. One is Nipsey. I just looked them up to make sure I had the right puppy because there's a lot of TY in here. Remember my last advice. Don't be like Bob, be better. So this one sold for $29.99 by offer on Etsy. And it is vintage from 2002. We do sell a lot of the TYs in the classic Beanie Buddy and Floofy Pillow Pet type of vibe. Not the little Beanie Babies. Those do sell, but not as well as this guy. So as you can see, almost $30 here for this little Beanie Baby. Or sorry, don't look at me like that. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. And the buyer did know about the tear in the tag, but did not seem to mind. They're harder and harder to find. So anyways, he's off to his new home, $29.99. And we have one more, I believe, in here. We're looking for a Raspberry Dolly Dalmatian Mama with puppy. And let's see, I think it's right here on top. We'll go ahead and... Nope, that's not it. But it is right here, I believe. Nope, that's not it either. We'll come back with that in just a second. I am back, and if I blinked, I might have missed it. Look at this little guy. I think he sold for $30. So let's see, $30. Let's just make sure that's right. Where's my paper? Let's see. Raspberry, no, I'm sorry, I was wrong. $17.10, which is still not bad for this little guy. I probably paid about a quarter for him, maybe by weight. If you're not familiar with what I mean by that, we shop at the Goodwill outlet bins, which is a pay per pound type of thrift. Anything that ends up at the Goodwill and that doesn't sell normally ends up in a Goodwill outlet store, which is called the bins. If you haven't been, there's a few videos on my channel where we source and show you what that looks like and some of the sold comps of what we pick. Just recently found an $80 Fisher Price Loving Family dollhouse there with a ton of furniture inside of it. So if you were not familiar with that, go ahead and check out some of the other videos. Anyway, so 1710, 4 months. And not bad for this little guy. And Raspberry Dolly with baby. On to the next. This next one wasn't too lofty of a sale, but we're going to try to move some of this out this year. And I took an offer on this one for $10.09. Came on eBay, Spark Create Imagine Dinosaur. Right, also, we're trying to push through a lot of this, what we would consider a baby toy. It does sell, that's not the reason, but sell-through rate is important. So if you're not familiar with what sell-through rate is, just because it's listed on something like eBay, doesn't mean it's going to sell within a certain amount of time. That's grandiose if you ask $80 for this guy, but if they are not willing to pay for it, that's a problem. So you take the amount listed, which is usually when you search in eBay, that would give you a number on the bottom, and I'll try to put a link to a video that I often reference for this. And basically what you do is you look up also sold. So if you go to advanced search, type in the title description and click on sold completed and usually used or new. And it'll tell you when the last time it sold and for how much and how many are selling through. And that'll give you a better idea of whether or not you should pick it up before you even leave the store. So I recommend that if you're new to this, check your sell-through rates. Plush is considered long tail, and we are aware of that. And we obviously have the patience to deal with that. And if you do too, it can help you pay your bills and move your family and your circumstances in a positive financial decision. And I give you financial freedom, pay for things like Disney dream vacations, etc. So why I mention all that, if you want to learn more about that type of thing and the business behind in the data analytics, and I'm a software engineer, data engineer, check out our Launchpad on January 5th. I'm telling you, you're gonna wish that you found us sooner. We're going to help you scale up and become even more successful than you already are. All right, so on to the next guy. You just had to restart the metal glasses. That was fun. So I don't know if I gave it justice last time when I was telling about sell-through rate. Let me do that one more time. So sell-through rate is number listed, right, divided by the number sold, right? And that's your sell-through rate. It's a percentage. You times that, I believe, by 100, it gives you a percentage. So I just want to be clear that just because it's listed doesn't mean it sells well. It will sell eventually if the price is right and they want the item. Don't get me wrong, but the point of this is to try to get your sell-through rate as high as possible. So when you're picking items at first and you're new, you might want to think about that at first. just to try to keep the momentum going for you. We started off in a way that is probably unheard of. My first sale on Mercari was about $150, and it actually froze my account because I thought I was scamming somebody. I picked an item that was rare. It's a Clarabelle from the old school Disney Steamboat Willie days. So I listed it on Mercari, and it sold for 147, I think, or 148. And they froze my account, and they were like, you have to verify your account, provide your address, your name, your ID. It was a whole thing. So I had to do that. But my point is, we started off and we made a lot of good decisions early on about cross-listing, about starting an Etsy account right away. So many good decisions early on that I had no idea I was making. So the importance of going wider and casting your net, just don't stay to one thing. I know it can be intimidating when you first start, whether you want to do Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, all the things at once. My recommendation is jump in, cannonball. But we're looking for, in this one, we're looking for a panda crate, I believe. Let's see here. It was Owl Panda Crate 95. Sold for $30 and sold on eBay. Let's see if we can find it. Hey, he's right here. He's actually an international sale. So another good point is once you get ungated from eBay and Etsy, and it takes a little bit, and even Mercari, they only allow you to go so far before they actually let you have full access to things like international shipping. But once you reach a certain point, you will be automatically grandfathered in on eBay to global shipping, and you actually have to manually go in there and turn it off. So just know that. For Etsy, you have to turn on international shipping. This one is going to, I believe, France. And so I can't say enough about international shipping. It really did scale our business in 2025. And we did a hell of a business in 2025. And we're looking forward to 20. Sorry. And also, just know that we want that for you as well. So if you're hearing this message, hopefully we can change just one life and one family's course for financial freedom. So can't say enough about that. That's why I'm so long-winded. Sorry about that. Very passionate. Want to make sure we help as many people as we can along the way. All right, on to the next. This next sale sold for $53.12 and courtesy of Nifty, and it sold in about 6+ months. It is a Paw Patrol Tie Beanie Boo plus set, and they do sell well. Some of the harder ones to find, you'll always find Sky and the police dog, sorry, his name, Chase. So those two are often common. The harder ones to find are Trapper and Zuma and Rumble. So those are some of the harder ones to find. So whenever you can find those and bundle them together, they're always worth more. So perceived value, I could sell them all for the same price individually, but they sell better when they're together. So just a quick note on bundling. eBay, $53. On to the next one. All right, this one comes with a story, so that's fun. 1983 Rainbow Bright Yellow Doll. So this one is collectible. And so I didn't send this out in time. Somehow when we got back from vacation, we had about 30, 40 orders waiting on us. So that was exciting. We left our store and time away on eBay. You can do that up to 15 days, I believe. So we did that with the extended shipping. And when we pulled those, I forgot to pull this guy. So he's actually late. So that's an important reminder to be careful again, going too fast and not remembering to do things. Luckily, Poshmark is a little bit more forgiving than eBay, for example. So this guy, he sold in 4+ months, sold for $41. And he's off to his new home, finally. Oh, I know you're going to yell at me, guys. For those who are new here, we did a lot of work in here and got this really clean. And we ordered more boxes. Well, me ordered more boxes because we've been going through them so fast, rather. USPS, rather. Sorry if I didn't say that. So we have to do some work in here. So this is going to be challenging. So just bear with us. Going to give ourselves some grace. 2026. Let's go. This next one sold for $30. It was a shark cat seal. Interesting. We'll see that in just a second. So now it makes sense. Here he is. Shark cat seal. That's exactly right. This guy is interesting. Never heard of the brand before. Mufsan. But couldn't live without it at the thrift store. He was super cute. Actually, I think we got this might have been from the Goodwill bins in Alabama. So whenever I see something unique or different like this, I always tend to pick it up just because you can't know everything, right? It's good to know a lot of things, but don't be a know-it-all. Nobody likes those. So anyways, This guy sold for quite a bit, and he's off to his new home. Super cute. This one is a Finding Dory finger puppet, so it's probably pretty small. $10.41, 6 months to sell on eBay. And let's go see if we can find it. Challenges by having so many items are just this. And I wanted to make sure you see it in real time, because a lot of times I don't dig while you guys are with me because it takes too long. The videos, we don't want them to be super long for you guys and mostly informative, but this is the reality of it. There it is. Didn't take too long to find. And Bright Starts, it was probably a collab with them, looks like. And so for $10.41, probably paid maybe not even a nickel for it. So an example of what you can do. Is she's off to her new home. All right, let's see if we can squeeze by here. The next four are in actually a different room. So we're going to skip those and stay in the garage. And there you go. That's why it's important to clean up and put stuff away. So there's my son's shoes. So this is the real. This is what you guys come for. The nitty gritty of what it's really like being a reseller. But we're all friends here, right? So our babies come out here once in a while in their crates, and they like comfort. So we put a lot of pillows in there. And here we are. So we're looking for 175, which is over here. So let's go ahead and clean up some. It's not a cleaning video, but here we are. If you like that kind of video, check out past day in the life ofs, and you'll see me. And I sped it up so you don't have to be tortured. But cleaning this, pretty cathartic actually. Watching that video. So if you like that cleaning type of videos. This one is a Grumpy Cat, and we'll be right back with that guy. All right, we were back with Grumpy Cat, and he sold for $16 and took about 4 months. And I back and forth with the person on Poshmark. They were being silly and lowballing offers, and I basically declined it. And they came back and made a reasonable offer. I think I had originally for 20 because it's new tag. Grumpy Cat does sell and does so well. This one took about 6 months, but they normally don't take that long. Probably because I had it a little bit up there because it is new tag. So don't be afraid to push back, I guess is the message there. If they're being silly with their offers, I keep offers on. I don't turn them off just to keep the communication line open. I want people to understand that, yes, I'm open to offers, but not silly offers. So just be mindful of that. So it's a little bit back and forth sometimes. That's part of the game. This next one was a Happy Nappers Cuddly Bunny with zippered pouch, and speaks to me. I think there's a blanket inside here, but it speaks to my inner napper. If you're not napping, you should probably get 45-minute nap in every day, in my opinion. Makes you more productive later. But so this guy sold for $11.21 and took about 6+ months. Would I pick him up again? Sometimes I'm asked that question. In this case, probably not, just because I don't think that the sell-through rate is as good as we need it to be. We're going to focus more on that, I think, in 2026, and also average sale price. If you're not sure what that stuff means and you want to learn along the way about the business of reselling, check out Launchpad on January 5th, 8 p.m. You're going to hear a lot of that going forward. Just to remind you guys, that is an option for that. And we'll also talk about some of that stuff here in we'll call this a hybrid. What sold, and also haul video, and also tips and tricks, which is what you get from these types of videos. But we're going to be going even deeper on the podcast. So check it out. So I will always pick these up, even though they're so niched down. This one's a News Channel 5 promo plush. So 2000, so it is vintage, and it's not in the best condition, but the buyer didn't seem to mind. Probably either worked there or knew someone that worked there. And so this one sold for $20 on eBay and took about 6 months to sell. So definitely look out for promo plush. We do sell quite a bit of it. And a lot of people are specific to not only their news channels, but also maybe it was a viewer. So, and if you are a viewer to our channel, I want to remind you to like and subscribe this video. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us along the journey. On to the next. So here is a little sock monkey. If you're not familiar with sock monkeys, apparently when they do so well, will I continue to pick them up? I will gradually stop, but it won't be for lack of trying. My wife is not a fan, and sometimes we sell things that we're not fans of, and it's important to just worry about sell-through rate, but also if you're not passionate, why do something? So likely move away from these, and I can understand maybe why she doesn't like them. They're not the most attractive little guys, but someone out there loved them enough to get them. And he's sporting his Arizona shirt, Puppy Sports Team. Plushland does a lot of collabs with sports. So this little guy, he sold for $14 on Poshmark and took about 6+ months. And it sold by offer. So on to the next one. This next one was a Valentine robot. Love is in the air already. January just sprung. Happy New Year, by the way, again. And I like you about. So someone is having love in their heart already. This guy sold for $13.77 on eBay. Took about 4 months. Super cute. Yes, I would pick it up again, especially this time of year. You want to make sure that you're listing your Valentine's Day stuff now. I know it sounds silly. It's only January, but got to get it up in front of those folks. So we're already starting to sell. All right, this next one is an interesting story. Well, maybe not as interesting as I think, but I think they are. This one was actually in pieces when I got it. And I used my veto. So me and my wife do this as a team, and we try to be good stewards of each other and be like, hey, no, don't get that. That's not a good idea. That's too much work. But in this case, I was really adamant because it was terry cloth. And this terry cloth plush, if you're not familiar, is pretty sought after. Most of it's usually vintage. This guy had no kind of identifying marks at all, but his ear fell off. So I asked my wife, I pleaded with her, said, please use your sewing skills to bring this guy back. He's too great not to. And she eventually did, and I love her for it. She's so good at it. And this guy sold for $53.99. I knew he was going to go high, and took about a month to sell. So it didn't take long at all once we had him repaired. He sat for a little bit waiting to get his repair done, but she came through in the end and is off to his new home. Sold on eBay. So someone's going to love him as much as we did, and restored him back to his former glory. And he's going to his new home. So he's so great. Thanks for listening to that tale. We appreciate you guys for hanging in on the video. I know they're long, but there's so much information to unpack. So on next. Yeah, this next one is a Poke Center sale. Pardon me. And why I'm mentioning this for two reasons. One is it sold really well, $65, and took about a month. Got a bunch of lowball offers is why I mentioned this, and I was just continuing to push back. And no, we're just going to hold out. So it hasn't been listed long. It'll sell. There's not many online, and the sell-through rate is incredible. So it's going to bide our time. And in this case, it worked out. $65 for these two little guys. Again, their official Pokemon branded. And yeah, they're off to their new home. And again, Poshmark is more than just clothes. You proves it right here. And so on to the next. All right, this is a little live pet. He snores and breathes and meows and all the things when you put it in here. We don't store these with batteries, so to prevent corrosion. So if you're picking up plush with battery packs, first of all, bring a screwdriver and batteries with you if you're outsourcing. That way you can test before you buy. Can't say that enough. So basically, test before you buy. And this one took about, I think he took about 6 months plus to sell. He didn't sell fast. Would I pick it up again? Maybe not. Depends on how much I got him for. But he sold for $22.40 on eBay. He is working, and he came with his pacifier. Sometimes these are missing, but he had all the things. So he checked a lot of boxes, which is why we picked it up. $22.40 on eBay. On to the next. We're probably going to wrap it up here. This video is getting kind of long. We still got quite a bit to pull. And remember, it was $1,015.91 in just over a 24-hour period. So we're still seeing pretty good sales through the holidays. Today is January 1st. And 2026 is hard to believe. Here we are. But I want to thank you guys for coming along the journey and liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. It all means a lot. It means a great deal. Shows value in what we do. And also, if you want to check out the podcast, one last reminder, Launchpad is January 5th. Just in a few short days, we'll be starting our podcast talking about all things business related to online reselling and talking about scaling up and what that looks like for the coming year. So again, my name's Ben Bob, and I am the Rocket City Reseller, and we'll catch you on the next video. Remember, if you can't be good at it.